I think this should be a winning issue, the transgender ideology. We obviously are correct. It's common sense. And most people, when you explain it to them, even if they're not political, they are going to be on our side. Where we could lose it, though, is where we say, where we focus almost too much on the kids. And we say, well, we just leave the kids out of this, but we're not criticizing transgenderism in general. Just leave the kids away from it.
I agree.
Our message has to be fundamentally, like you said, the reason we don't want the kids taught this stuff is because it's false and harmful.
You wouldn't teach a kid that 2 + 2 = 7.
Right, and it will send them barreling into a life of despair, and we're going to have a wave of mass wave of suicides coming, even worse than what we have right now with kids. When 10, 20 years from now, they're looking around and saying, "What did you people let me do to myself?"
I mean, the stats on this are pretty clear, and it's amazing to me. Nobody, frankly, has the balls to actually say it, but the stats are very clear that I mean, according to Gallup polls, 0.8% of people born before 1945 identify as LGBTQ. For people who were born between 1997 and 2003, that number is 20.8%.
Yeah.
Okay. If you go to people who are even younger than that, if you're going to go to the 12-18 crowd, because remember, everybody who's born in 2003 is now 19. So if you're going to people who are born in the 5-year period after that, I would guarantee you it's at least 25 to 30%.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're looking at that group, and then you look at the suicidal ideation rates among LGBTQ, you're talking about suicidal ideation rates that are in the 40% range, as opposed to the general population, where it's closer to 10 to 15% among teen girls, for example, maybe 8% among teen boys. So what you're doing is you are taking an entire population of people who are not going to be suicidally ideated, and you are celebrating them for selecting into a population that is having very, very high suicide rates.
And almost 30% attempted suicide rates.
Right. In the trans community, yes. For people who identify as transgender, the actual suicide attempt rate is, depending on which group you're looking at, between 40 and 50%. I mean, these are insane statistics. Yeah. And you're telling people that they will be celebrated and they will be cheered if they come out and engage in this behavior. And then you're saying that you're helping kids by doing this. And not only that, we know that if a kid is genuinely dealing with this, not they've got rapid onset gender dysphoria and all their friends are doing, but they actually have some form of gender dysphoria, we know that 70 to 90% of those kids are simply going to desist, but we know that 100% of kids who are given puberty blockers end up moving on to further stages of transitioning. So you are actively locking people in to a choice that is going to harm them dramatically. Pretending this isn't happening is just insane. It's insane.
You're saying
it's a social contagion. There is no way that evolutionary biology suggests that in the course of one generation, you go from 5% of the population identifying as LGBTQ to 30%.
Unless something's in the water.